Johnny Gunn's investigation, Tuesday, October 3rd. We have a sad story turning out to be a great story today. And what we have to bring you today is a story from over the weekend of a missing child, which we all hate to hear about. One thing as a parent, we hate to ever think that our child is ever going to go missing and somebody take them from us. Upstate New York, close to Saratoga in a state park, Monroe State Park. We have a family, a little girl, cousins and friends want to enjoy another weekend just before the harsh winter comes in Pennsylvania. So they go camping in Monroe State Park, which is beautiful, upstate New York. Couldn't ask for a better weekend. The weather's great. Kids are having fun. So here, just before sunset, they want to go on the last bike ride, the kids, just to enjoy one little last fun time around a little park. So we have little Charlotte, fourth grader, 9 years old. Her cousin and friend go bike riding. And they go around to the little trail and around this little cul-de-sac, little round part of the area that they make the little circle roundabout. Do it a couple of times. And then the two other kids want to go back to camp, which they do. Charlotte decides to go one more time by herself around that little circle. That was the worst mistake that little girl did that night, unfortunately. And it just breaks my heart. So unfortunately, 15, 20 minutes goes by. Charlotte doesn't come back to the campsite. Panic sets in the family. Mom's going crazy. Dad's freaking out. They go run back to where the cul-de-sac is, where they made the little circle around, and there's her bike. But no Charlotte. No Charlotte. Park rangers, friends, family, everybody's searching the woods, screaming, looking at the lake, looking in the bathroom, looking around near the creek, just searching everywhere. No Charlotte. 30 minutes goes by. They call the local law enforcement. State Patrol comes out, local law enforcement, no child. Massive manhunt starts right then. They don't hesitate a minute. Great job from the law enforcement and the governor of Pennsylvania. Excellent woman. They jump right on it, drones in the air, dogs, search and rescue. They have volunteers, everybody out there trying to find this little girl. No luck. All night long, next day, no luck. She's missing. The worst thing that can happen to us. The worst thing. Little Charlotte, 9 years old, a little over 4 feet, 90 pounds, has been taken, allegedly, at that time. Cops are saying not a good thing. The governor comes down and she makes a promise to those parents that she will do everything she can to bring that child home safe. So I want you to watch this video with me and watch where things can go terribly wrong and then finally have a happy ending. And any child abduction, as we know, usually never turns out happy. Usually 99.9%, it turns out in a bad way. So let's see if I can get this to work this time and we can watch a good video together. And then here. Oops, sorry. And here.
Over the weekend from a campground is back home safe now. This morning, we are learning new information about the girl's abduction, and Mario's Ken Smith is here with how it brought this case to a happy ending. Ken.
You know, Jeff, we know how critical those few hours are when someone disappears, especially a child. In this case, 9-year-old Senator, the frantic search for her stretched over. Senator disappeared Saturday night in Morrow Lake State Park. She'd been riding, but wanted to do a quick loop by herself, but never returned. Here's how authorities were able to rescue her. Authorities say the suspect left a hand-delivered ransom note in the family's mailbox. Investigators then lifted fingerprints from that note, which led them to 47-year-old Craig Nelson Ross Jr. Now, once they located him at his mother's home, investigators found Santa hiding in a cabinet in a camper behind the house where Nelson lived. The 9-year-old was quickly reunited with her parents and two sisters, much to the relief of the hundreds of people who were searching and praying for her safe return.
We came together, opened the doors to pray, and we're seeing a miracle already.
Happy. I can't imagine what the family's is thinking and feeling right now, especially, being local and, we live right here in this neighborhood, and we're all just breathing a sigh of relief, not just, for them and her children, but for all of the children in the neighborhood. We feel safe again.
Yeah, everyone in that small community sharing that same sentiment and also recognizing how the entire community came together to help find the girl. Of course, today's show will have a live report from Morro Lake State Park, where the incident is still active this morning. That's 7 right after our morning news. Renee.
Everyone's so relieved that their family. Ken, thank you.
Hi, Edward.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Took me somewhere I don't even know. Sad story. It's an unbelievable story. The little girl goes on a nice little vacation and she gets taken by a psychopath. The guy's name is Craig Ross. He lived not too far from there in a mobile home. And they found him by checking the fingerprints on the letter he left in the mailbox, which is a ransom note this guy leaves, okay? So, and he's a sexual predator. So there's a lot that's going to come out about this story on what the outcome is, but the most important thing is for me to bring you, she was found, she is safe, she is in her mom and dad's hands and with her family again. This psycho, they were tracked down so well by the law enforcement by that fingerprint. At 4:15 a.m., he's dropping off a letter in these people's mailbox for a ransom for a child that he's holding in his mobile home, not too far from where he was. So they were able to get a fingerprint off that envelope that they were able to lift from years ago when he got a DUI. So once they were able to find a fingerprint hit and find out who he was, they were able to go back to, like everything down today in technology on how we can track anybody is pinging the phone. So he was pinged going to the site of where this little girl Charlotte's parents lived, leaving the ransom note. They find out where he is, go right to the house, warrant, go in, and they find the little girl Charlotte underneath his cabinet, wrapped up in a plastic bag. Like, what she went through has to be a tragedy. For any parent, for any family member to have such a beautiful weekend and then have it end where somebody is abducting your child. This is a crazy world out there. We never know when something like this can happen. We never expected. Those little girls were riding their bikes. The last thing in their minds where somebody was going to hurt them and take them and put them through the situation they were in for almost 2 days. That poor kid. We don't know if anything bad happened to that little girl in a sexual way with this guy, because he is a sexual predator. We don't know that yet. We will find out. Let's just pray to God that that's not the case, because that's the last thing that we want. We're just so glad that she's able to come back. The FBI's, they did a great job. The Pennsylvania governor, she is great. She did a fabulous job. She has spoken. I'm going to pull up some more footage for tomorrow once we go into our other investigation and let you guys see how hard what she did for that woman. She did promise that family she was going to bring their kid home, and she did. And that's unbelievable. So just wanted to bring this quick story for you guys tonight. I wasn't going to come on tonight, but the ending of this story of a little girl coming home after being abducted is something that never happens. This is a celebration. You know, this is something finally we can say that there's closure very fast, you know, because we know it's the first 48 hours what happens. You're never going to find that kid. They did. They tracked this killer down. He looks like, not to put anybody down, but he looks like something from the movie Deliverance in the backwoods. He was not the brightest guy, but that's the best thing that could have happened to this family. Leaving that ransom note and that fingerprints that they were able to lift off of that. That's what brought this to justice. So now we have him off the streets. He is locked up. They've been at their house all day long, searching everything, checking all the evidence out, seeing if there's anything else, because in that area, the FBI did let everybody know. Now they have his DNA, which could be the best thing in the world, because there has been a lot of child abductions around that area and around the whole state of New York. But in that community area where that park is, there has been abductions to where there wasn't good endings. So, but never anything brought upon of a ransom note. So now they're going to go ahead and do the DNA checks along with all those cold cases to see if there's any type of evidence of him being involved in anything, because he is a sexual predator. He is a predator. And I'm glad they got him off the streets so he can't hurt anybody else again, anybody's kid, or abduct or put anybody in danger. So everybody, I hope you're enjoying your day. I'm enjoying mine. I love bringing news to you because we're still working, Becky and I, at True Crime Lounge, and Johnny Gunn's investigation are working on the Kohlberger case, because there's a lot of things that we have that we're going to bring tomorrow's show. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to come on today. I popped on just to bring the news of a sad ending turning into the most happiest ending a parent and family members can have, is their child coming home from being abducted at a campground upstate New York in Monroe State Park, which is such a beautiful park. I mean, here they are collecting lightning bugs and enjoying such a beautiful weekend before the winter comes, and this predator has to ruin it for these kids. It's a shame. So let's just hope the justice comes in hand on this one and puts this maniac away forever, put him in open population in prison, and let them take care of him. So everybody out there, keep an eye on your kids. Make sure they're safe. Always make sure you know where your kids are. On our cell phones, we can put that site on there. We can actually see where our locators are and locate our kids and know exactly where they are. So everybody, Johnny Gunn's investigation bringing you a happy ending tonight with a child abduction turning great. She's home. She's going to sleep in her bed tonight. She's going to eat dinner with her family and get to kiss her mom and dad goodnight. So everybody have a beautiful day. Johnny Gunn's investigation. We'll see you tomorrow. And you guys be safe out there.